You know who the fuck it is. The fantastic Pendejo. In the house again. Oh, fantastic Siggy. So, some questions have been coming up. Bear with me. I'm walking in the hallway, so it's going to be a little echoey. Big ass bag of t-shirts. So, concerns have been coming up about how I do my kerosene flushes. Legitimate concerns. Thank you for the viewers, everyone who has subscribed to my channel. Also, to the viewers that have commented about the concerns and the quantity, things of that nature, ratios. Like, I don't know if I have mentioned it before, that sooner or later I was going to get to the point and try to figure out a sensible ratio. Sorry about that. One of the viewers, I believe his name is Jimmy Joe. Jimmy Joe, this actually is meant for you. I appreciate, because there was a concern about oil capacity, and he is right. For the most part, if you're driving your vehicle, you're not beating on your vehicle, you're just driving it normal, always please use the recommended oil viscosity. Brands is up to you. But if your vehicle calls for 5W30, use 5W30. If it calls for a certain amount, get that certain amount. Case in point for my son's car, and I'll use his as an example. His calls for, I believe, 520, 530. Okay. And again, I'm using his as an example. He uses 4.5 quarts. It's a really weird number. So obviously I'm left over with a half a quart. I will dump in the extra half a quart, the white part. So 4.5, because we actually went on ahead, and when we did the oil pan, we were curious of what the capacity was on the oil pan. To our surprise, it was spot on. It was 4.5. The extra half a quart, believe it or not, because we were using an elongated filter, literally a half a quart would fit in there. So that's where the extra will come into play. Should your vehicle require a weird number, just keep the half a quart somewhere in the garage, possibly keep it in the trunk of the car. Vehicles that are older, because of the spacing, you've got to keep in mind these engine parts, they wear. So sometimes you might burn a little bit more oil. So it's nice to keep that extra half a quart in the trunk. So Jimmy Joe was right. Got to be careful out here. I'm an extremist by nature. So when I do things on the extreme side. I also beat and race my car at the track. I use it on a day-to-day basis. I'm looking at you, looking at the fucking button. Perdóname. So I do use my car on a daily basis. I am a union laborer. I'm a construction worker. So they send me everywhere. Case in point, last November, I drove 4,000 miles to and from work for an entire month. That was just 4,000 miles to and from. That's not to mention my other running around, visiting friends, visiting family, things of that nature. So I put about a good 5,000 or 6,000 miles in 5 weeks. No bullshit. Keep in mind that by nature I'm an extremist. So why I overfill my engine versus why you shouldn't do it. So I do it a couple of reasons. One, I have an extended elongated filter. It took some research to do. That's probably going to be for another video. I don't know yet. I don't want to encourage you to do the shit that I do and have something go wrong and you guys blame me. Okay? But those of you that are going to be interested, be like, hey, it's kind of a thought. I like a little extra oil in my, something a little bit bigger. So I ended up doing it for my son's car. I ended up doing it for mine. So it's the exact same filter, just bigger. So that's where the extra comes into play. Do keep in mind that I have turbos. So I have oil passages. And when I go to pop that drain plug, sooner or later, some, if not all, the oils in the oil tubes and everywhere in that engine is all going to drain down once I drain it. I also have my vehicle literally like this so that all the oil, as much as the oil, can come out. When I drain my oil, I let it just literally drip. That's how much I let it go. Some people just go on ahead. Oh, there's just a little stream to plug it back in. Oil capacity is very important. Okay, follow the recommended regimen per your own owner's manual. Okay, again, follow the weight. Brands, again, up to you. back to the kerosene. I'll put this here. So, here's your gallon. Let's just do case in point. You guys have seen me do this. 2-gallon flushes. Okay? Again, extremist by nature. I beat and race my car. For those of you that normally drive your car, okay? And again, Jimmy Joe, I really do appreciate it, because I've been meaning to do this video, and you are the reason why I am doing this video. It is encouragement. So what I managed to do, when you loosen the drain plug and you pull the drain plug out, you'll notice that it'll spew outward. As that starts to drain, you'll start to see that drain, instead of it coming, sorry about that, instead of it being here, it now starts to drain and drain and drain. More or less, you want to go on ahead and empty half of the oil out, okay? Whatever your recommended oil capacity is, you replenish it with the kerosene. So if you more or less are draining 2 quarts out, add in 2 quarts of kerosene. Take it, dump it in, let it run for about 15-20 minutes. You could let it run for a little longer, maximum 40 minutes. 20 minutes is more than enough, okay? If you're doing this every single oil change, 20 minutes is more than enough. And again, whatever you're draining out, replace it with the quantity that you just drained out with kerosene, okay? For a 5-quart, I basically dump out 2.5 quarts, okay? So I may just, by accident, maybe fill it up to 3 quarts, take it, dump it in. I've done this for a buddy of mine's car, his Infiniti. His Infiniti was acting a little funny, and his cam phasers. So I'm like, well, let's go on ahead and let's take care of it. For his, we emptied his out. His was a 5-quart. We emptied out half of it, and then we dumped 3 quarts in there. About 2.5 to 3 quarts of kerosene. Took it, engine flushed it, found out that there was some debris in there, fixed the problem. But again, the ratio is important. Whatever you're draining, replenish it with the kerosene. Run for about 20 minutes. Don't go past 20 minutes, okay? And again, doing this often is going to keep the engine clean. Preferably every oil change, okay? So, when embarking on the kerosene flush, things to keep in mind. When you drain, excuse me, I'm a little gassy. When you drain, replenish it back with whatever you think you more or less drained. If you think you drained 2, possibly 3, just take it, replenish it back with, more or less 3 quarts. Always remember, and I'll show you again. Middle of the gallon is 2 quarts. Okay, you already know 4 quarts is right around here. More or less, you don't have to be perfect. If you want to be finicky, you want to measure out 3 quarts, not a problem. 2.5 quarts, whatever, if you're finicky. Whatever makes you comfortable. Don't go outside your norm. Okay, take it, engine flush it. Okay, and oil cap. Make sure the oil cap is off. Okay, I've actually gotten better results. For some reason, it almost like creates a complete seal. Dipstick. Pull the dipstick, just let it out. Uncap the oil cap, take the cap, put it on top of the engine, set it to the side. Don't make sure you set it to the side with somewhere you can find it. Man, I pulled my oil cap out, almost lost my shit because I couldn't find that fucker. Needless to say, my rule of thumb is I always leave it on top of the engine cover that's on there. That's my go-to spot from now on. Drain it. Once you drain it, then obviously plug in your drain plug. Put that back in. Make sure everything's clean, neat, and organized. Okay. Put it back in. Pop your oil filter. Make sure that there's no O-ring left behind. That's actually happened to me before. Okay, and it caused a big fucking mess. So make sure when you look up, or you look where your oil filter was at, make sure that the gasket from the oil filter is still on the oil filter. I inadvertently went on ahead, was all in a hurry, took it, popped it off, didn't even realize that the damn seal was still up there. Went to go seal it, and the fucking oil was all over the place. So again, make sure, okay? Cover your ass, CYA. So oil capacity, make sure you stick to the regimen. Kerosene ratios, very important. Whatever you drain out is what you're going to put back in, okay? I'll let your fucking boy. Oh, before I go on ahead and do the little button thing. Comment. Don't forget to comment. Keep the comments peaceful. Okay? Me, I personally don't give a fuck. However, keep it peaceful for others. Okay? If you guys have concerns, and if you guys have thoughts, you guys have ideas, share it with each other. Help me, help others. Let's all help each other out to refine and get a nice, good ratio. I like this ratio where you drain out and just replenish what you just drained out. I feel that's perfect. What you see in the video is a little bit on the extreme side. Do keep in mind, I erase my shit. Okay? Holla at your fucking boy.